On today's episode of Factually, the COVID-19 update.
The COVID-19 update, and you have a lot to look forward to this time.
Oh boy.
We're going to talk about safety. We're going to talk about politician drama. We're going to talk about conspiracy theories.
The whole package.
Oh my god, we're going to talk about why Angela Merkel is trying to kill the German population.
I knew I could never trust her little witch hands, the little position she always has them in.
Yeah, the little...
midget hands.
I don't even know what to call them. Midget hands. Oh my god.
But we do love Angela Merkel. Maybe.
Or do we? Find out in today's episode. All right.
Well,
we're also going to talk about predictions. We're going to talk about what your country is probably going to look like in the future. And we're also going to talk about how many people are infected now in your country. Not the official numbers, but the actual count, because that's different.
What doctors don't want to tell you.
What doctors don't want to tell you. Drink lemon juice and you will never catch the coronavirus. Please, nobody take that seriously. All right, we're going to also give you a more detailed safety guide about how to actually be the only ones who survive the coronavirus. All right,
definitely.
we're us and the listeners, only ones. People, start making friends because you're going to need them.
Yeah, exactly. We're also going to be talking about preventive measures, protective measures, and how by you actually taking these measures, you might save a lot of people.
A lot of lives. Tea. Right, and then in between segments, we're also going to have coronavirus fun facts.
Are we?
Which, do you know what? I regret naming it that. Like, I really regret it right now, but that's what it's named. That's what we're going with. We're going to tell you about the Corona Beer Company. And, okay, here's a question for you. We're going to answer it later, but here's a question. Do you think the Corona Beer made money off of free advertisement, or do you think they lost money? Don't answer it. That's up to
up to them.
All right, it's a rhetorical question. No, it's not. But
I mean,
whatever.
given the
and then we're gonna
yeah.
No,
Keep talking.
No, go on.
Given the fact that they made, I think, right? They made an advertisement saying, "Guys, we're not the coronavirus. Please buy your beer." Oh, sorry.
You spoiled it.
I answered the question.
Maybe you're wrong. Do you know what? Maybe
Maybe I'm wrong, guys. Maybe I'm lying.
And then we're gonna talk about shows and even animes that predicted the coronavirus. Crazy. All right. Oh, also, this segment is up to you, but politician drama about the Czech government. I mean, we are a little country. Nobody cares all that much on a worldwide scale, but our governments are wilding. They're just out here.
They be wilding. Let me tell you, the situation has escalated since the last time we made an episode. It has escalated because I remember we made our first episode when there were no cases here, and now we really wilding.
Yeah, keep watching to reveal the official case count.
Today, by the way, is the 16th of March.
You could also Google it, but don't do that. Keep watching.
Yes, please.
All right. Also, and we're also. Do you know what? Our government is going full Illuminati on this virus. They are full Illuminati. All right. And before we start, like always, we just want to give a little disclaimer. Do you want to say it, Zuzka?
Our disclaimer is we're just two high school, girls trying to form our opinion. Forming our opinion means that we do have a personal bias, and, we're just out here trying to discuss, have a good discussion, share opinions, share information, and, also learn something new.
Yeah, that being said, all of our information is taken from official sources, doctors, whatever. We're not looking through mom Facebook groups for this.
Except for the conspiracy theories. Those are a little.
Those are straight off of Facebook.
Those are straight out of Facebook.
All right, let's move into the first segment, which is going to be your basic noob safety guide. All right, this is for coronavirus noobs. You're probably gonna survive. No, that's mean. Okay, yeah, this is what governments tell you to do. Wash your hands for 30 seconds. Wash them often. Maybe even every 30 minutes or so if you feel especially threatened. Wear face masks not only to protect yourself, but to protect others. Make sure not to touch your eyes, nose, and lips, especially while you're out on public transport. And try to avoid large groups of people if you can. Obviously, people have to go to work. We understand that. But don't go out to a bar after work and stuff like that.
If you can, do your best to keep a distance between people. If you're on public transport and you're seeing that there's a lot of space and there's just 3 of you there, don't be all huddled up, close to each other. You can always move a little bit away. It always helps. It's always better. Why not do it?
Exactly. All right, moving on to our first segment. This is going to be politician drama.
Let me tell you, there's some hot piping tea here.
All right, what do we want to start with? Do we want to talk about the way our prime minister is profiting off of the virus?
Ooh.
Do we want to talk about the way the prime minister is... Do you know what? We're just going to talk about the prime minister.
It's all about our He's out here really just he's out here profiting. Let me just say that, because I remember we got our first couple of cases, nothing was happening. No measures were being taken. And I was really wondering what was going on. I remember getting back from Slovakia last week. Still no measures were taken. Nothing was happening. And I was getting a bit frustrated. I was a bit conflicted. I was thinking, because I came back from Slovakia and they already were shutting down their schools in Bratislava. They started, I think, disinfecting their public transport. And I, seeing that we have more cases than Slovakia, I was so confused. I was like, well, what about us? And then on Tuesday afternoon, it just started. And let me tell you, it started. They closed down the schools. And up until today, there are huge travel restrictions. We can't really leave. No one can come in. Communism time, just really coming back to our old roots. Our prime minister, if you don't know, used to be part of the secret state police. So he really out here bringing back his good old practices. Ooh. Tea. Ooh. And so I think all these measures are, of course, good. They are at least trying to slow down the spread as much as we can. It's also, that message of we're Czech Republic, our healthcare is okay, but it's crustier than others, and so we can't really handle that many cases. So we're trying to take as many preventive measures as we can in order to lessen the cases, which is really good because it levels out the curve, which we will talk about later. But our prime minister, back to him, he owns many things. Let's just say that. He owns media, he owns agriculture companies. He's out here really being richer than
owning
Donald
stuff.
Trump. Yeah. And he also owns a lab in Czech Republic that is a lab that I think it's for what do you call them? If you want to get
testing kids?
No, not testing kids. It's if you want to get a child but you can't, so it's fake.
Oh,
it's
in vitro fertilization.
Exactly. Yep, that. So he has that, and he also has labs for testing COVID-19. And if you want to get tested, this is a private lab, by the way. You have to pay 3,000 crowns to get tested in his lab. There was another private lab that did this for, I think, 1,200 crowns. What he did was he sent the financial police. I'm not sure what you call them. I'm sorry.
Auditors, I think.
Yeah. And he shut down that lab. And now he's out here really profiting because people are testing themselves in his lab and paying that money. It actually doesn't cost that much to test yourself. The testing kits don't cost that much actually, but the people are paying a price for it. Of course, that is only private labs, don't worry. We have healthcare, public healthcare, you can get tested.
Unlike America. Cheat.
I mean, America, actually, I read some news. I think I forgot it, but there was some... Yeah, I'm not going to get into America now. That's a whole other thing. But, Prime Minister. And he's also, I feel like there is that side agenda that he has, that hidden agenda. That because this boomer remover is targeting mainly boomers.
What did you just call it?
Boomer remover. Are you not on TikTok?
Oh my god, Why did I never hear about that?
You're just on that other side.
Go on.
And since, if you don't know, it's mostly the elderly population that votes for him. He has to keep his votes. And since the coronavirus is mainly targeting, older generations and is definitely more deadly with people who, are older.
Sorry, I'm still laughing about. Go on. Sorry.
Then he wants to keep those votes, obviously, and so him putting in all of these measures, saying, "Guys, don't worry, we're safe. There's a soft quarantine. Don't leave if there's not an emergency. Stay inside." From tomorrow, from 17th of March, people are not allowed to be on public transport without wearing a face mask. And all of these measures, I feel like, are good, of course, slowing down this virus. But I feel like there's also that hidden agenda of, I will protect my voters. I will make them...
Yeah, he does need to protect his voters, that's true. But also another fun fact about how he manipulated everyone. Or all politicians manipulate, whatever, we been you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at it this way, essentially, the Ministry of Health, he controls it, right, to a certain extent. And up until Tuesday of last week, they were saying, it's not that bad yet, nothing is happening. But all of a sudden, we hit a case where a taxi driver had it, and then the Prime Minister steps in, and he's like, you know what, guys? We actually have to. We're going to start taking action. I am going to start taking action. We are shutting down schools. We are banning gatherings over 100 people. That's, he makes himself kind of come across as the hero.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. You normally, in other countries, it's health officials who go on TV and who make these announcements because they are professionals in that field. But here, it's mostly the health minister and our prime minister who makes himself just look like this good man, saying that he's gonna hand out all the face masks himself. That's another thing where we can talk about, saying that people from tomorrow have to have face masks when they go on public transport, yet there is a serious lack of face masks here. It is insane. Yep. Let me tell you guys, take the amount of face masks in Japan and minus that by 90%.
The population of Japan.
Literally. There's nothing here. We went to check if they had face masks, 3 weeks ago? They were out. Yeah. No, there's no hand sanitizers, no face masks. Everything is out.
They were I asked her, do you guys have face masks and hand sanitizers? And she laughed at me. She was like, no.
Exactly. And people think that people buying face masks is a panic move. Yet tomorrow, people have to wear it on public transport. That's not a panic move. And that lady who was telling us in the pharmacy, people are just panicking, man. I passed by, I'm going home with a tram here today. People wearing makeshift face masks with their extended turtlenecks on their noses. People, wrapped in a scarf when it's already spring. It's not a joke, and it's insane to me how much supplies did we send to China?
We sent him. Wait, I don't remember the numbers. Anyway, a hospital here was asked to send testing kits and just medical supplies to China as humanitarian help a couple weeks ago. But guess what? China returned it because they don't need it. It was just our politicians trying to crawl up China's butt.
Oh yeah, right? Definitely. If you don't know our current political situation, it's quite interesting. We have our president who loves licking China's shoes. He's out there flying to Beijing 24/7 being like, listen, Xi Jinping, my God, mwah, 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 I love you. And then we have our Prague mayor who is the opposite of that. And it's the funniest thing seeing these exchanges. China banning the Prague Philharmonic from going to China, but yet the president is like, please no, we love you. It's interesting.
Please no, we love you, China. And yeah, it is very interesting.